Where the hell is he?
I don't know, he's your cousin.
He should have been here an hour ago. Dude, what are you doing? Where's your mask and gloves?
Aren't you afraid of being infected?
I don't need a mask. Strip club's not worried about the coronavirus, and neither am I.
No, dude, not the coronavirus. The Yeerks.
The what?
It's drinking with Animorphs.
No one told me.
No turning back, no backing down, nowhere to run, no solid ground. No place to hide, no one to trust, no one to help you when you're lost. There's only us. It's all in your hands. Hold on, hold back the darkness. Gotta take a stand. It's all in your
Welcome to Animorphs. This time.
It's April Fool's Day, and we're here reviewing Animorphs. Book 1, The Invasion. No horror in this one, sci-fi. Hard sci-fi. And it's not very hard sci-fi, and my points will come later on my issues.
adult sci-fi.
It's like
Medium
it's,
sci-fi?
it's one step before young adult. I feel like you go Goosebumps, Animorphs, Hunger Games.
Oh, so what I went as a kid was Goosebumps, Animorphs, Redwall, and then Wheel of Time. Redwall, they're the big old chunky books about mice fighting each other with swords. Mice with swords.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Forgive me.
All right, well, let's just go check in with Amy and see what we're drinking today. Amy?
Amy?
Hey guys, today's shot is the Andalite. Fireball, Goldschlager, soda water, and some blue food coloring just for fun. Give it a swirl. It's morphin' time. Oh yeah, that's fine. That tastes like a hot tamale.
Intro shot time.
This should be interesting. Hope you like cinnamon.
My name is Jake. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you my last name or where I live because the controllers are everywhere.
Meet Jake. No last name given because
He could live in your town. He could live in my town.
He didn't want to tell you.
he could be standing behind you right now.
You wouldn't know.
It could be the one Jake in your life.
But Jake can't reveal to you where he's at or what his last name is because if he does, they'll find him.
The controllers will get him.
The controllers, because Jake is an Animorph. Jake and his friends, Marco, Rachel, Tobias, and Cassie, are your typical teenagers.
Jake describes his cousin Cassie like, all right,
No,
let's be fair.
his cousin is Rachel.
Or sorry,
Rachel,
his cousin
Rachel.
Rachel, let's be fair. She's really beautiful, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and then he even catches himself like, I'm not that I think of her that way. It's like, shut up, you jerked off to your cousin, you fucking weirdo.
Well, it's not only that. There's like 2 or 3 other times where he calls her super pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, you're kind of
You
into your
are that
cousin.
guy. If you're the guy who says, "Oh, I'm not into that kind of thing," but you bring it up, you're the kind of guy that's into that thing.
Jake and his 4 friends, he's got his cousin Rachel, his funny friend Marco.
Hot cousin Rachel.
Yes, that is.
You are now to refer to her as hot cousin Rachel, or you have to take a shot.
Jake and his
No,
friends.
that's the fucking deal.
Jake and his friends, including hot cousin Rachel, goofball Marco, new kid Tobias, and then Black Cassie, because that's how the book describes
Classy.
Are,
Tax.
are heading home at night from the mall, and they decide to take a shortcut to their houses by going through this abandoned construction site.
Which they were told not to do.
And they're walking through, and Tobias suddenly starts looking up at the sky, and he's like, what? And everyone's like, oh, UFO.
Look,
And sure enough, this alien craft lands in the middle of the construction site.
During this stint, somewhere in there, you learn that Tobias is staying with his uncle. He goes back and forth.
He has a broken family situation where he's been passed off on aunts and uncles, basically, and nobody wants him.
Because he never knew his dad, so his mom was a sexually indiscriminate whore, and then she just abandoned him.
Oh, he's staying with the relative.
Yep.
Staying with the relative.
Nope.
They're standing there like, oh, maybe we should approach this craft and be like, oh, welcome to Earth. And all of a sudden this voice appears in their head. And this is one of the, I know you guys didn't read Animorphs. I read this growing up. One of the cool trademarks of Animorphs is when they're in animal form or when an alien is talking to them, an Andalite is talking to them, instead of using quotation marks, it's
Carrots.
carrots to indicate that they're hearing a voice in their head, which,
Like right now, guys. You're hearing my voice in your head.
hey, Bob.
I'm writing HTML right now.
Do not be afraid.
Where did that come from? I heard it. In my head.
So they're approaching the ship and they hear this voice and it's like, don't be afraid. And this door opens and this like half horse blue alien
A fucking
creature.
centaur comes out, for Christ's sake. A centaur, that's a deer's body comes out.
It's a centaur with, he's got eye stalks on top of his head.
Yeah, this
And a
was
big
a-
scorpion tail.
And no mouth. This is Prince Elfangor, and he is mortally wounded, and tells these kids, "Hey,
Want superpowers?
I'm an Andalite."
Can I tell you guys a secret really fast? I was so bored up to this point that we have to take a random shot.
Well, that's just affecting the spin. He shook it. He shook it off of his own name.
It's in the middle, you jackass.
But it
There's
was
no
on your-
chance.
It
Well, now
was
we
on-
all have to.
It was on yours, and then you started shaking it.
Christ is risen.
Yay unto him. Wow, it's really hard to shoot like that.
The blue alien centaur thing is Prince Elfangor, who is an Andalite, who is at war with these Yeerks, and Yeerks are parasitic creatures that take over people's brains.
I just imagine them going through the ear, like into the brain.
Well, they do. That's exactly what they do. It's like Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. And this alien basically says there's this alien invasion occurring, and the kids are like, oh, well, oh no, hopefully this invasion doesn't happen here. And the alien goes, oh, it's already at Earth. People are taken over by the Yeerks already. You just don't know.
Want some superpowers?
Yeah.
Get this fucking cube in my ship.
It's a glowing cube. I'll put your hands on it, and you'll be able to turn into any animal you want to help fight the Yeerks.
Random whale shot.
It's fucking horse shit.
I can't even see who it lands. It's
I know,
probably
but
me.
you're shaking it.
It was like DWG. Yep.
It was.
It wasn't.
It was
though.
right here
It was
because you
DWG.
moved it.
No,
It
I
was
didn't.
you fucking
What? No, it
cock.
wasn't. It was DWG.
No, it was DWG.
No, it wasn't.
Why would I not want
I
Jason to take a
understand that,
shot?
but you're wrong. I want to go to the footage because that's bullshit.
We can't go to the footage.
We can go fucking instant replay. What year is it?
Hold on, don't do it yet. Random alien superpowers. Okay.
Here's where we get into like soft sci-fi, where they should have kept it hard sci-fi. You can only morph for 2 of your Earth hours.
You need only to touch a creature to acquire its DNA pattern and change your form. But remember, when you change, you must return to your human form within 2 Earth hours.
It seems like why you have to touch the animal. It's like, no, you just fucking pluck a tiger hair because
If it's DNA, it doesn't matter how you get it.
no, it doesn't. Well, they say it's like, oh, to absorb their DNA. To me, it's like, that means they could just grab another human because it's different DNA. DNA is unique to each thing because they even explain it's like, oh, look, I turned into my dog, not I turned into
A dog.
yeah, I didn't turn into a dog of similar breed. I turned
Specifically
into
my dog.
my dog. So my thought is like, A, either these kids are stupid and not realizing it's like, hey, Dad, how's it going? And then heading to the titty bar.
The bad guys come down in their ships. There's some big dude named something 3.
Visser Three.
The key part about Visser 3 is he is the only Andalite to get taken over
By a Yeerk.
Visser Three.
Yes, I have taken one of your Andalite bodies as my host. Your Andalite morphing technology has been so very useful to me.
Visser 3 is torturing the Andalite guy.
Oh, he fucking kills him. He doesn't even
eats him.
torture him.
He
Yeah.
turns into a giant creature and eats him.
and eats him. Okay, great. Then all of a sudden, like, the kids get found out. Everybody's running. They kill a homeless guy in the construction site, which is pretty fucked up.
There's legit a homeless
dude.
guy that probably dies in this book.
Dude, there's a lot of people that actually die in this book.
This is the next progression up from Goosebumps.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a-
what I'm saying. It's not quite to Hunger Games where they're like, hey kids, here's a fucking forest and a box full of weapons. Last one,
nuts.
yeah, last one out, family gets to eat for the next year.
The next day, Jake wakes up and Tobias shows up at his house. And Tobias is like, I did it. I turned into my cat. And Jake, who's trying to repress kind of the horrific things he saw last night, is like, what? Turned into an animal? And then ends up petting his dog Homer. And Tobias kind of walks him through concentrating until Jake turns into a dog. And so basically everyone's learning that, oh, we really can turn into animals. Everything we saw is real. There's a real Yeerk invasion. And apparently Jake's brother Tom is part of, he's been taken over by a Yeerk. All the cops in the town are like, oh, there was no UFO last night. There was some kids setting off fireworks in the old construction site. There's a reward if you let us know who was setting off the fireworks. And then Tom, Jake's older brother, is like, yeah, you hear about that. You guys don't believe in UFOs. Do you know what kids set them off? Are you those kids? And it's acting super suspiciously, and is also part of this weird cult called The Shining?
Sharing.
The Sharing.
Anyway, we do cooler things at the sharing. And besides, the place is a magnet for girls. You guys should come.
And it's basically a front for the Yeerk invasion, where they're taking people in, putting Yeerks in their heads.
And like when they actually go to like one of the sharing meetings, when they start establishing levels of membership, it's like, okay, Scientology.
Yeah.
So they go to the sharing meeting, all the kids except for Tobias, who's apparently addicted to flying, which I get. It'd be pretty sweet.
He's turned into a hawk because Cassie's family runs a farm for injured animals. And so he touched a red-tailed hawk. And he
Wait.
loves riding them thermals.
So they do this little fun night volleyball trip at the beach. So, I mean, we know they're on a coast. And
I like that Jake's like, it could be any town. It could be your town. Does my town have a beach? No. So
Yeah,
it can't be my town. And at this point in the novel, a lot of it is the group like struggling with, do we do this? We're just kids. This is like an alien invasion. We don't know how high this goes. Obviously, you know, they can be anybody. They can be government officials. They're obviously policemen if the police are out looking for us. And it's like, we shouldn't have to take on this responsibility.
And Marco's very anti it,
Yes.
and that's where you get his whole fucking dark backstory. He's like, well, God, if I were to die, my dad would lose it. You know, because after my mom drowned 2 years ago and we never found the body, my dad stopped being an industrial engineer, which is so fucking broad.
Principal Chapman's a controller.
Jake is now spying on the assistant principal of the school, which
As a
they know is a Yeerk.
Yeah, as a lizard.
Yep, Jake is a lizard.
That's right.
And basically, as a lizard, he finds that there is a secret entrance in the school's janitor closet to this big underground
They're
cavern.
looking for like Yeerk pools.
A Yeerk pool, which like apparently the Yeerk need to revitalize themselves in this
Daily.
giant pool with these waves from their sun.
Again, with fucking science, what parasite? It's not like you get fucking tapeworm and the tapeworm has to crawl out of your butthole for an hour, grab some sunlight, and come back in.
Sounds like you haven't had a tapeworm.
No, I have. It's why I lost like 20 pounds
you
once.
have?
But
Where the fuck did you get that?
When the fuck did you lose 20 pounds?
Wow, fuck you.
So every couple days, the Yeerk control the people they're inhabiting to go into this Yeerk pool beneath the city. The Yeerks slide out of their host, and the hosts are jailed while the Yeerks basically swim around this pool and soak in these rays. The Animorphs decide we're going to infiltrate here, and we're going to rescue Tom. We're going to try to rescue these people. So they decide to meet at the school to go through the secret entrance. And they're like, where's Cassie?
Where's the token black girl?
Where's Cassie? And they go down into the cave, and Tobias, who's already in hawk form, is like, oh my gosh, they have Cassie prisoner, and they're taking her right now to get a Yeerk in her ear. And they go full on crazy. They're all turning into animals. You see hot cousin Rachel turns into an elephant. Jake is his tiger. Marco's the gorilla.
They start rampaging and killing people. They kill aliens, and they were very graphic about some of them, but she's like, no, he grabbed some dude and just fucking threw him, and he says, I don't know where he went.
And then all of a sudden, Visser Three shows up, and he starts wrecking some shit. He's like, oh, there were more Andalites on that ship, and he doesn't know that the Animorphs
Which
are
is
human
solid.
kids. Yeah.
That was a good thing.
It's a great little thing.
Yeah, he turns into basically a fire-breathing Hydra and starts shooting fire.
They flat out said fucking head.
They flat out said, like, there were two broads on Cassie's back.
as a
One
horse.
of them takes a fireball and just falls off and burns.
So the whole thing relatively goes badly. They manage to save Cassie, but Tom gets recaptured and is still a Yeerk. A bunch of people died. But they get out, and the next day, Jake wakes up, and
To the flapping on his window again.
Tobias is in hawk form, tapping on the window.
I guess getting away took more than 2 hours.
No.
I can't change back.
He
I
went.
had to hide last night, and it was longer than 2 hours, so I'm a bird now.
Dark ending. That's not dark.
I don't...
That's a dark ending. He's trapped in hawk form, and
Well,
they
Tom,
save
it's
nobody.
it's an Empire ending. I'll agree with Jason. It's an Empire ending. Durka ending.
My name is Jake.
That's one of the Ashmore twins, buddies, so we're gonna have to take a shot.
Sean Ashmore.
That must be Tobias, because he's alone and a loser. And looks like he's getting ready to shoot up a school. It was the 90s.
Oh, this is where they filmed every Goosebumps episode.
Hey, that's where they found the camera
The
from
evil
Say
camera.
Cheese and Die.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's definitely not from my hood.
Each of you must touch one side of the cube.
I'm not touching that.
I'm not touching that. Is that one of them AIDS cubes?
Elf Fangor's like, just don't turn into a gerbil around Richard Gere. Why? Just don't do it.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
You know, I could hear my bones crunching and twisting.
Yeah, man.
Now I watch
Turn 30. That's all that happens.
Stand up and 8 things make noises, and you're like, what the fuck?
Trust no one.
Wait a minute. We ripped that off from somewhere. What other 90s show did that?
It's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Tobias? Tobias?
Hawk, get out of the way. We're trying to look for Tobias.
Stupid bird.
What's up, dog?
Let's go, we're supposed to...
What's up, dog?
Sup, dog?
Wait, you look too good to be a stray.
Here, you look too good to be a stray. Snaps her leg. Well, that was the first episode of Animorphs.
First 2. And it's good to see that much like Goosebumps, the Animorphs episodes suck too.
We're legally obligated to point out that we recognize Sean Ashmore, aka Iceman from X-Men, but we ran out of shot, so...
And fun fact, hot cousin Rachel, played by Brooke Navin, was Aaron on A Shocker in Shock Street.
Bob, what do you rate Animorphs #1?
I'll give it a 7. Like I said, I liked it. I could see potential of how you could make this not a YA book, but more just like a sci-fi book series, I think you could do some solid stuff with it. Despite having 5 different characters, you got at least a decent bit of character development of who they kind of are, what their thing
General
is.
backstory.
Yeah. I'll give it. What did I say? An 8?
7.
7? I'll give it whatever I said. Fucking 30
8 or 7?
seconds
Well, you
ago.
went up to an 8.
7.5. We'll split the difference because I don't remember.
Okay. Jason.
I'll go 9. And I come in with this rating kind of with a tainted view because I did read these books
You
as
do
a
have
kid.
a taint.
Just going back and rereading this first book, characters are pretty fleshed out for how relatively short of a book it is. And it is a remarkably dark tone, like Bob said. I really don't have many gripes with this. I'd go 9.
Damn. I'm going to go 6. I'm not big into the sci-fi thing. I thought there were a lot of holes. They did a good job with the
Buttholes,
characters.
like animal buttholes.
A lot of buttholes.
Holes that need filled.
Okay, great. Well, I guess that's Animorphs number 1, I suppose. Let's see you guys next time for...
Animorphs number second.
Whoa. I'm done with this. Fuck Animorphs. I'm going back to Goosebumps.
Were you wearing 2 shirts the entire time?
It is cold outside. Do you not remember
Winter
the
time.
opening?
Do you have a Boxcar Children shirt underneath that one?
No.
Find out next week.
He's got his Sweet Valley High shirt on under that one.
Our school is so cool. You can be a Sweet Valley girl, going with the Sweet Valley guys, living in a Sweet Valley world, getting into Sweet Valley High.
Now everyone can get into Sweet Valley High, the game that is. Get the right clothes, throw the right party, date the right guy.
Jessica, you stole my boyfriend, just like in the books.
Our school is so cool. Sweet Valley High.
Get into Sweet Valley High, the game from Milton Bradley.